Hi everyone, it's me, Teresa. I have reached an age where you understand that people are not always who they appear to be. I'm happy to say that recently I had a conversation with Anja of Ophelia Talks Crochet, and she is genuinely just as authentic, fun, creative, and personable as she appears on her lives and her videos. If you know of Anja and her channel, then you will enjoy this chat where she expresses herself as only she can. If you don't know Anja of Ophelia Talks Crochet, then I am thrilled I get the pleasure of introducing you to her. Ophelia Talks Crochet is a movement in the crochet community, a place where you can step away for a time from drama, politics, and worries. Anja and her husband Dirk have created an international community that is bound together by the fun of crochet, Anja's unique, beautiful style and her projects, and her creative, entertaining videos that can transport you to a different place and time. This is a relaxing chat where we didn't rush the questions, and I tried to ask questions you might want to ask yourself. So grab your latest project, get your tea, and sit back and enjoy some fun talk with one of the most innovative, creative trailblazers of modern crochet, Anja of Ophelia Talks Crochet.
Already on the hibiscus tea, so it's afternoon here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us and doing this interview with us today.
You're very welcome.
You're awesome. Okay, so we're just going to get right into it. So I see that your channel is up to almost over 193,000 people right now. Isn't that so exciting?
It's so exciting.
Well, to know that there's a person behind every one of those numbers, how does it make you feel?
Unbelievable. It's something that it's so difficult to grasp, so hard to understand. You try to imagine so many people together. It's not possible anymore. So yes, it's overwhelming once you start thinking about it, to be honest. So yeah,
And
great.
It's an international community too, isn't it? Yes.
Very much so, yes. There's people from India, US, South America. There's people from Europe, from the UK, of course, from Africa. Unbelievable. Yeah, all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, you even teased about maybe even doing a live in Dutch. So
I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to do that soon. Yeah.
That is so fun. We're talking about, so many people and such an international connection. I believe you have a way of connecting with people through a screen, and you obviously have a talent for teaching. Your lives are fun. They are something they're like, it's a day. Like they plan their lives around. I've even seen people who get up in the middle of the night to watch the live.
Unbelievable. Yes. For the live, I would not be as good a fan of myself as everybody else is, I would not be getting up in the night or staying up late or getting up earlier or whatever they do. That's not me. But I feel so honored that they do, and it's so great that they have that commitment. It's wonderful. Truly.
I believe that there's something behind that, though. I believe that you have an intention, because I think you really create an environment and a connection. How do you go about that?
I don't know. You see, we recently we went somewhere and there were some talks about marketing and, for yarn retail shops and things like that. So it wasn't as applicable to us as it could have been. But all the questions they were asking was like this: how do you get people to follow you? How do you create a nice environment for them? And my reply, and I told them as well, because this guy was telling them his replies. My reply was, be yourself and show your personality. And I've always been quite enthusiastic. I've always been loud. Not loud in a bad way. I've always been sort of, when I get enthusiastic, I go for it. I'm really fired up about a project and I want to pass that on to you. And that's what I try to do in the lives, and that's what I try and do in my tutorials as well.
Well, that brings me to, do you have a background in theater?
I don't. I don't have a background in theatre, but I do have a background in teaching.
I knew that, and that's why I was
So
like, I wonder if she also got dabbled in theater any.
no, I
So,
didn't, because I can't remember lines. I cannot remember lines. I can well, I can remember whole Shakespeare lyrics, but I can't
oh,
remember lines.
oh my
But
goodness.
no, I have a background in teaching, and that gives you sort of the backbone of how to put things across, how to make things clear, how to make sure that you don't forget to tell people certain things that are crucial for the end result of what you're doing. So I guess that's helping with my tutorials, because I've read quite a few comments on my video saying, oh, I like the way you teach this. I like the way you show us how to do things. And that, of course, stems from having a teacher background.
So what was the moment that you knew that crochet was going to be an everyday experience, constant everyday presence for you?
Um, well, I kind of, it's difficult to say, because I was taught to crochet a long time ago, picked up my hook again about 5, 10 years ago now. That's a big difference. About 10 years ago, let's say. And I liked it to the point that I thought, yeah, I can do this. I can do more. There's a world opening up. So yes, I started crocheting every day because I just was enthusiastic for myself, and I was on fire, and I wanted to make this and more and more and more. And then, of course, from that moment on, almost, I was crocheting every day. And after a while, I noticed that actually my crochet was getting better. And then came the day that I put that YouTube video out, sort of one of the first ones. And I thought, yeah, that's fine. I've made something. I'll show them, something like that. And of course, I still was crocheting every day. And then those videos started taking off, and I started making more and more tutorials. So it sort of started before the videos, because I had to get better before I had the confidence to put the video. But yeah, ever since, I've had that pure luck of
Right.
people loving and liking and watching my videos. I've been crocheting basically every day.
Every day. That is awesome. Well, now, how has this community, we've talked a little bit about this international community that you built, how has it shaped who you are as a person today?
um, well, I was always someone who had a few very good friends.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of friends that I acquaintances, right? But I didn't have a lot of very good friends. So like a BFF or a really close friend, I can count them on one hand. But now, having this worldwide community, it's quite overwhelming, because there's so many people who are interested in me, and I show an interest in them, of course, because they're doing something that I like as well. And yeah, to have that huge group of people almost around me now is amazing. It's overwhelming. And whatever opportunity I get, I want to get to know you better. So every opportunity that I've had up to now to meet a subscriber, I have taken that. And it's always been a way of connecting with that particular person whom I don't know, obviously, who they know me better than I know them.
Right, right.
But whenever I leave their house, or leave the premises that we met up in, or leave the meeting, I feel like I've made a best friend.
See,
You
and
know,
that's what I talk about. Yeah,
I feel so connected to them. Yes, because we have a joint interest, but we also talk about all kinds of other things. And we also talk about their interests besides from crochet, or what their husband does, or what their sons do, or, things like that, or their general life. And I walk away and I feel like I've made a best friend.
that is wonderful. And
That's just
I
so
think it's
nice.
that's your authentic personality coming out, that wanting to connect.
Yeah,
Speaking of that, because I know that you've even gone when you've been on vacation and a subscriber will say, I'm in this area, you've gone by to meet
yeah,
them and to hang out, met up with them. So you give so much of yourself, your time, your expertise, your creativity, your imagination to your community. What is your self-care routine that enables you not to experience burnout?
Yes, I do give. I think, first of all, I want to say something about this giving, because that's a way of showing that I love them, that I love what they give me in return as well, because they give me a lot as well. I want to give back, and that's the way I can do that. My self-care routine is my time away when I do yoga. Every sort of, that's blocked in the week. I go out and that's my time. And just, yeah, doing little things like I've started painting, as you know, sort of since about a year again. So I've been doing that quite a lot as well. Before bed, a little painting. And other than that, just crochet. Crochet is fine for me as well as my little self-care. Just making sure that, you know, my stitches are nice, that everything is looking nice, and try out things. And yeah, it's not just, obviously, I can't crochet for myself without making anything for the channel, because there's just not the time. But whatever I'm crocheting, I like to crochet. I want to make. And so whenever I am crocheting, I will put on that little Netflix show, and I will put on that silly thing that I'm watching sometimes, because Derek walks in and goes, oh no, she's watching that again. But that's, for me, that's my little time crocheting, you know, just making sure that I can just have a little moment where I'm not thinking about editing, where I'm not thinking about patterns or whatever. I'm just concentrating on my own crocheting and having a little bit of fun.
I've experienced a lot of your lives where you've done Q&As, and I've seen other interviews that you do, and a lot of people will ask you, what is your favorite project to do? And each time you're consistent. Your answer is always whatever you're doing at that moment. And that tells me that your answer really is the crochet itself. It's a journey for you. It's not the end result.
No.
It's the process. Can you talk a little bit about what you find and so enjoying about the process? And not that you have to preach it. We are the crochet crowd. We love, you know, crochet itself. So, but I'd like to know what draws you in so much into crochet itself.
The fact that you can have a very simple thing, a piece of string and a hook, and you can make yourself whatever you need. You can make a blanket, you can make a shawl.
Yeah.
Wherever it is. It's difficult to point a shawl. I've got a cardigan on. I've made so many things, like a little key hanger.
I mean, you talk about how much you do yoga for self-care, and then that's your yoga shawl right behind you there.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
Yes, how point. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, so the fact that you can make something yourself with a little bit of instruction that is giftable, that is sellable, that is wearable, that will keep you warm, is just amazing. And that's the basic of how much I love crochet now, because you can sit down and make something for yourself, for others, for, you know, for earning if you needed to.
And you get a sense of satisfaction, don't you?
Yes,
completing something.
Yeah. And yes, of course, if you complete it, if you can give it away, and if people say to you, wow, that's lovely what you're wearing, amazing.
Yeah. And you just brighten up. We went somewhere, and this lady said, oh, that is beautiful. And I was like, oh, I made it. You know, it's like,
yeah, I do that as well. Yes,
I made it. You know, it's like, oh, well, speaking a little bit more about you, this is just kind of a fun question. What would your dream vacation be? Where and what would you do?
My dream vacation would be a yoga retreat somewhere in the hot tropics, somewhere nice and hot, where I can do yoga, where I can do some walks and some swimming, and of course in the evening do some crochet or something like that. And yeah, something, yeah, like a retreat.
Oh my goodness, that sounds lovely. Yes. Okay, so your channel is famous for your lookbooks. I mean, that is what really distinguishes you from other crochet tubers. Where did the first idea come from? Not just to create a crochet design and project for people, but to take your community on a crochet journey through the project. And you even step into the land of fantasy and fun, such as the autumn wall blanket, the Greenway, of course, the Lizzie. Where did all that come from?
You know, I don't know where I got the idea from, but for the autumn walk, I remember how I came up with the idea for dressing up.
Mm-hmm.
And for the autumn walk, Dirk and I went on a sort of a trip to investigate, to see whether we could film there. So the autumn walk was the blanket finished? I can't remember. But we went somewhere locally. We had a walk around, so to Woodbury Castle, where I did do some filming for the autumn walk. Did I do a lookbook for that one? Do you know, I can't remember now.
I believe you did.
Or was it in between? Was it just bits in between the tutorial? That, you know, you asked a really good question.
Because, well, see, here's the thing. Here's what's in my head. My head is, because even in your pattern, you take us on a journey. You don't just say, here's the instructions. In the pattern, you're like, with my grandfather, I used to walk and do this. So that's why I envision it. So I don't know if you did a lookbook or you just put the...
I think my intention with my autumn walk with my grandpa was that I would go to Belgium and film in the woods itself, which I still haven't been able to do because of, you know, things happened, so we couldn't travel. But I remember going with Dirk on this trip, or well, on this walk, to go and see if we could film there in Woodbury Castle. And while I was there, the colors and the woods and the leaves and the trees moving, and I had this vision of, hang on a minute, I can do something with this. And I've done in the past, when I lived in Belgium, I did medieval reenactment. So that means you dress up, and for a couple of days, sometimes when there is an event, you live like a medieval person. So we had a tent, and with the kids, we used to go there, and we had bows and arrows, and I had the clothing. I had the dresses, the long dresses, the linen dresses. I made the kids' clothing as well. So when I was walking in those woods with Dirk that day, I could see the green dress I had, which I wore in my lookbook images. And I could see myself wearing a dark red shawl, which I hadn't made by then. Right? So that's where the idea came from, where I did the cowl and then add a shawl to it. I thought, I'm going to do a shawl in the copper, the fox, because that was the whole thing throughout the blanket. There was a fox in each week. So then I'd had this vision, and we went home, and I started the shawl right away in the copper. The day after or something, I had an opportunity to go to my storage, dug out all my medieval clothing, found the dress, because there's a shirt dress that goes underneath, so a whole linen dress that goes underneath, found the thing to close it up with, everything. And then, of course, weeks before that, I had been to a workshop to make that big basket.
Right.
It all came together. It just all came together. We went and filmed. I was dressed in my medieval clothing. I had the balls of yarn in the basket. I remember now walking around the tree and then walking up, standing there. You know.
Yeah.
And that was the birth of all of that. Because I had this vision of myself in my medieval clothing, with the yarn, with the basket, with the blanket. And then, of course, I made the shawl as well. And that was like the shawl. I made that really quickly because we were filming. I think I made it in about 5 days.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, this was all happening.
Right.
You know, this is how it happens. You have this vision and you see it happening, and it just has to be done, you know?
Exactly. It's like inspiration comes upon you immediately. You can see it all, and then you jump right into it.
And so Autumn Walk was one of my first cows, was the first cow that I sold. And I also sat, oh yeah, I remember now, I sat in those woods on a stump, on a tree stump, and we filmed the introduction, you know, where I said, oh, the
Right.
launch, we have packs and we have this, and then the cal starts on this date. And yeah, those woods, that was like, you know, and Dirk was a bit further on.
Mhm.
And he was like, I thought, what is he doing? You know, he was like going around, and I was filming there, and I was
Right.
being distracted by him, and I was like, go away, go further away.
Now that we've been talking about this lookbook, it's made us go and do a little bit of investigating. So which was your actual first lookbook?
Well, yes, we had to go and look on my channel, and actually I've made a little list. So I started doing this lookbook feature video in June 2020. So on the 10th of June, I published the modern vintage blanket as a lookbook. So what I used to do was just do a tutorial, but this time from now on, I always do a lookbook first, and then after that, a couple of days later, the tutorial. So the modern vintage first, then the 12-point star in the Chunky Monkey, the Kiss blanket that we were doing over a longer period of time, the Pirate Cove poncho, which was great, which was a great project. So
It's
that one,
beautiful.
yeah, that one is a lookbook as well. And I remember we went to the little beach called Pirate Cove here in Exmouth. And so, yeah, I was, you know, walking around the beach. And so, yeah, that was.
Now, did you write Pirates Cove in the sand, or was that just happened to be there that day?
It's always their kid. I think kids do it, or adults, I don't know, but it's a little beach, and it's called Pirates Cove. It's from history something, and somebody, they've changed it to another name. It has an official name, but they don't want it to be changed, so they keep writing Pirate Cove, and after every storm or after a couple of months each time, they go and put them back, so it gets redone quite often. Yeah. And then we did the Woodbury Castle shawl. So that was you know, where I was looking at the autumn walk already, and we did the autumn walk lookbook as well at the same time. So yeah, so that sort of June to September 2020, that's when I first started doing the lookbooks. And yeah.
And how many do we have by now? Did we look it up?
I know. I think about 53 or something like that. So that's, yeah.
That's awesome. And that's what I just love, because it's more than just coming to the channel and find a tutorial. It's like you can really experience the project and, like you said, really see what it's going to look like. I just love that. You know, one time you shared with me that you would love to like travel around. And I said, well, I think that's what you do in your lookbooks. You take us on all these adventures and these travel things.
That's part of it as well, you know, being able to not only show off my project, but also show off the area, not only the area here where I live, close by me, or locations sort of close by where I live, but also other places in the world. You know, we've been to Egypt filming, we've been to Cape Verde to film, we've been to Dubrovnik. Just now we've been to Yorkshire. Okay, that's England, but it's further away from us.
Right.
So, yeah. It's great that I can do that. So I'm doing quite a few things in one go in those lookbooks. And although I have had a few people saying, oh, this is not a pattern, where is the pattern?
Right.
You know, I think these lookbooks have their own value. I think they have something that, like you say, that no other channel does, but that gives you something extra, something nice, something cozy and warm, and, you know, where you can just sit down while you're making that project. Of course, you know, a little bit later on when the tutorial has come out, you can just sit there, watch it, and make it.
Well, and I think that's what's so great, though, is that you're not afraid to be unique and different. And it's very obvious that you just celebrate who you are.
Yeah. So this is one of the ways I can be different. I want to do this. I want to be different. And not only that, I like making them.
Exactly.
Something that, you know, I can unleash my creativity in Final Cut Pro. I can do all kinds of things. I can make it rain. In one of those videos, I made it rain. It wasn't rain lookbooks. I can take my technique of editing much further. I can use music, I can use special effects, I can use, you know, special transitions, all kinds of things, which I can't, of course, do in tutorials because you've got to concentrate on what you're doing and your hands. So, you know,
Exactly. And that's what I think is just so unique and special. You know, one of my questions have been, because I already know you don't worry about what other people are doing. You just do you and do it to the best of your ability. But a lot of people fall into, and I'm one of those, falls into the comparison trap. You know, you watch someone else and go, oh, I can't do that. I'm not doing this. You know, you're very confident in what you do. And so where does that inner strength come from, just to be you?
Yeah, just to be me. When I was young, a lot of times people would say, "Oh, Anja, calm down," or "No, don't do that. You know, let's do it this way. Just calm down, do that." I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be there anymore. I am old enough
Right.
to make my
Right.
own decisions, and if I want to be doing this, then I do it. If I
Well,
want to do this, then I do it, and I don't want to, you know, sort of be suppressed by other people, or I don't think people should be telling me, "Oh no, you shouldn't be doing this," or "You can't be doing that." No, that's not me. I don't want to. Yeah.
well, I love that. And many, many years ago, it was a long, long time ago. I was actually, when we lived in Japan, I was in a group setting with a bunch of women, and the woman said, "There's someone waiting on your becoming. They're waiting on you to become who you are. They need something within you. And if you hold that back, you're limiting them from something they need." And I think that is what you are, the essence of someone
Mm.
who has become herself and is generous enough to share that authentic self with the rest of us. And we are all reaping the benefits of that. And so it's just your lookbooks, your whole channel is just an expression of Anja. And I think it's wonderful. You know, that leads me to real quick, you know, I gush over you. Everybody needs to know I'm a fangirl. Can't help it. But you know, you get a lot of people asking you, "What's Ophelia?" And I love your short answer has become, "I just like it. That's why it's Ophelia." So
Yeah,
do you want to take a moment to explain why it's Ophelia Talks?
I'm a big Shakespeare fan, and I like the name. So
Right.
Hamlet's girlfriend is called Ophelia. At the time, I had to choose an MSN name. At the time,
Mhm.
I chose
Right.
Ophelia because, you know, you can't put your real name out there. Blah blah blah. And little did I know that when I did choose Ophelia for my channel, and I thought, well, if I just do talks, then she can talk about all kinds of things. So Ophelia Talks was a good
Yeah.
name for a channel that would talk about all kinds of general things, right? Um, but little did I know it would grow into something bigger.
Right.
And of course, I then started talking mainly about crochet. And so over the last year or the last 2 years, I can't remember now, we've added crochet to the title
Mm.
so that it would be clear that that's what it is. Ophelia Talks Crochet. And I think I like that sort of Ophelia and then the verb and then crochet. I like that. Although the delivery man still thinks my surname is Talks.
Oh, Talks. Oh, that's hilarious. I still refer to you as Ophelia, and videos, I'll catch myself. I'm like, "Teresa, you said Ophelia." But, you know, that's hilarious. Well, at least he isn't calling you Miss Crochet.
Well, it could have been Anja Talks, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
No, I like it.
I liked Ophelia, and yeah, that's where it goes.
Well, I think it's such an example of that they are coming here, like your lookbooks. I mean, Ophelia Shakespeare. I mean, this is more than just you. You are presenting, you know, characters and like this new
Yeah.
Windermere. I'm so excited about the
Yeah.
Windermere, you know, because I got to
And
test it.
like with the Lizzie as well, you know, I love
Mhm.
Prejudice. I love that film, so I use that. So all the things that I have talked about on the channel, in the project, is things I love. That's me. Shakespeare, Jane Austen, Windermere,
Right.
you know, typical English things, you know, stuff like that.
About Cal's filming with Dirk for a little bit, because you guys are a partnership, like you 24/7 yarn website, you know, the channel. Talk a little bit about that, because I remember one time there's one, and I think it might be in the Woodbury Castle Shaw, where you're like, he was telling you, run over here, run over. You're like, oh yeah, like it's simple. I could just run down a hill here. You know?
That was a Castle Shell poncho.
Oh, that's it. Yes, yes.
So we went for that poncho. That was afterwards. It was the same stitch, but it was a different shape. So it was a poncho.
Yes.
We went after, and it was working. So we were doing these lookbooks. We were doing the, you know, you don't just show a garment, hold it up and say, this is what we're making, and then put it down and start the tutorial. That's not. I want to inspire you. I want to enthuse you. I want to make sure that you want to make this. So I'm going to wear it. I'm going to show it off. I'm going to show every angle of it. I don't, you know, if there's something wrong with the pattern, or if there's something wrong with the design, I will tell you that you can take that into account. You know, I'm not hiding anything, you know, and I want to show you properly how you can style it, how you can look great in this item. So yes, this was working. So we went to a different, so Woodbury Castle is close by, and then there's Blackberry Camp.
Okay.
That's another medieval, no, prehistoric setting where people used to live. So it's like with a huge area with a walled garden, or with sort of higher walls in, medieval,
Right.
So we were walking there, and there was this mound, so there was this wall, and so I was walking on top of the wall, and then he said run down, so I did, but then of course I ran too quick or whatever, and I wasn't in the picture, so he said do it again. I'm like, okay, right, but of course running down a hill is not easy. I had boots on, they had little heels. I mean, you know,
you had a basket in your hand, but maybe you didn't. I can't remember, but yeah, you were doing the running.
Did I have the small basket with me?
I think you did. I can't remember. Yeah.
So I always like to work with, you know, attributes.
Yeah. Right.
So off I went again around, and I thought, well, I'll do it again. But you know, you're going down, and it's like, you know, and this is something that he's kept on doing. Do it again. Do it again. And I'm like, yes, you wait, do it again.
But you do all your editing, right? You do all the editing and the little all that part. Yeah. That's what I thought.
So I do all the editing. I also have a lot of the ideas of so I'm gonna walk this way, you're gonna follow me, and then we go panorama up to there. I'll walk until I'm out of, so that's sort of the kind of director's instructions that I give him. And then he does it, and then whether or not it went right, we do it again. Sometimes things just don't work out, or he just says, yeah. And I'm like, okay, did that mean he's ready? Does it mean he's pressed record? Does it mean that I have to start? You know. And then sometimes he goes 1, 2, 3, go, and then I know to go. But when he says, yep, I have no idea what to do.
Right. So you guys really have to learn, you know, you have to talk to each other and work together to make it. Yeah.
It used to be that we would have a heated argument during filming. Like, I thought you said go left. No, I meant you go right.
Someday you got to make a blooper reel. One day.
But now it's a lot easier. It goes a lot easier. I know what to expect. He knows what to expect, and we are doing this basically the same things. There's not much you can do, you know, other than just show off your cardigan. I can't just, you know, magically make it whatever or put it, you know. So there are things we can do, but it's also we keep to the things that we can do with it. You know, blanket, yes, you can put it on the grass, you can hang it in a tree, you can put it over your shoulders, but you know, it's not going to do a sing and dance for you, obviously. So as you see, because I film on my phone, it does have a lot of storage, but I tend to delete straight away what we don't need, because not only because of the storage, but also once I get home, I then have to transfer it to my computer and start editing. And I do not have the time nor the patience to start editing and then all of a sudden realize, oh no, that's the one where it all went wrong. So I shouldn't have spent all that time watching that and looking at that. So I tend to just delete all of that straight away so I don't have to deal with it later on. So my process of making my actual video can be as efficient as possible. So yeah. That's why
well,
I don't.
you know, talking about your videos, you have taken, I think that you have taken, you can obviously tell you've taken your time to really learn how to present, and, you know, you just said you have a teaching background, but you've also taken a lot of effort to give us a lot of great, well-produced videos. That had to be, or is that a learning curve for you at all? Because I mean, you've got transitions, you've got surprises, you've got, you know, all kinds of techniques I see you throwing in there. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I nick those from other YouTubers.
Awesome.
So there's other YouTubers I follow who do not crochet. So just sort of, channels on lifestyle, on sailing, on on all kinds of other things that are interesting to me. And sometimes I think, huh, what did they do? So I rewind it and I watch it again. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So, and then I try to find out how they did it or what they used. Most of the YouTubers I follow, I find out through some way what they use for editing, how they do it, what they use for storage, because you can see it sometimes in the background, or they might be talking about it, or they might be filming while they're editing, and then you see a little screen and I know which one it is, So I try to find out how they do it, what their special things are for editing, and then I sort of get that idea from there. Sometimes I do also have an idea of what I want to do, and then I just look it up. I don't try and look it into Final Cut Pro because there's so much in there. I find a YouTube channel, a YouTube video to watch so I can just learn from there. I've done that from the beginning. So in the beginning, I used iMovie on my phone, and then I transitioned to Final Cut Pro. And from the moment I had Final Cut Pro, I thought I am not going to spend time looking for things in the program itself, nor in the manual, because the manual is like a gazillion pages.
Right.
I type it into YouTube. Somebody tells me round about what I need to do, and then I'll be able to go and find it in Final Cut Pro much easier. And so that's what I've done. I see some people use certain filters. So I've got my own filter for my lookbooks that I always use, things like that. And it's just nice to, for me, it's actually become an extra hobby. It's another
That's
thing.
what I was going to say. It's like you've taken crochet as a hobby and turned it into something. Now you've video editing and video producing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm at the point where I'm really comfortable making the videos. It goes really smoothly, depending on how well I filmed the initial videos. When you're filming it, because sometimes some days it just doesn't work, and then you think, oh, I'll have to edit that out. Oh no, I'll have to edit that out. But if it goes well while you're actually filming, I can do that quite smoothly, quite easily. So I put music to my tutorials, not the important bits, okay? Never the important bits, only the intro and the pause buttons. And I try to make it nice. I try to use banners and a logo and all kinds of things like that, so you have a nice video. And yeah, so now that I feel more comfortable with the basics of making the videos, I want to put little extras here and there and see how that goes. So
yeah, well, you do an amazing job. And my inspiration, of course, is your channel. And so I'm always trying to learn. And I've also think of myself as a little bit of a dabbler of a writer. And it's kind of in writing, you tell, you don't show, because you don't have that. But in video, you show without telling, so it is a completely different way of storytelling and of presenting. And so you do it so well. I want to transition to one of the projects I've heard you answer before. A lot of people have asked you, what's your favorite project? And you've said the Lizzie blanket. You do with the colors and the stitches is to actually get the emotion and the essence of the characters and the scenes, and you put them into the pattern. You obviously have a talent with colors. Where do you think that comes from? Don't be modest. You do so much. You pour so much. Listen to how much energy you just explained that you pour into bettering your craft of videos and of producing. You know, you put all this in crochet. I think you've done just as much into color theory, and it's a huge part of it.
Yeah. I think I've gotten better with colors because when I first started to started crocheting again, you know, the packs were the whole thing. So everybody was buying packs and they were available in shops, and I couldn't put them together like that. But it's practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. With anything, like with crochet, like with video.
Well, you certainly have an eye and a design for it, because you take us on that emotional ride with those characters during that cowl.
Yeah, I have always been artistic. So painting was one of those things that I used to do when I was a child. I used to do oil painting. I remember my last oil painting when I was 22. So, you know, I would always be drawing, sketching, painting, working with colors. So that might have something to do with it. But then also with the Lizzie, again, that's a story like what happened with the autumn walk.
Really?
So one day what was I doing? I was on my desk here just doing something, whether or not I was crocheting or doing something else, but I was doing something else, or even cleaning, I can't remember. But my favorite film is Pride and Prejudice. Sorry.
Right.
Pride and Prejudice. So I had it on in the background. I don't watch it anymore. I just put it on in the background, just to keep me company. I know what's going to happen. I know what they're going to say, but I just put it on in the background. And I was, like I said, I was doing something. So I was just catching glimpses of it. And I wasn't catching anything sharp. I was just catching the colors. So I was doing something here and just once in a while catching a color from that film. And I was like, that's it. Why don't we just use the colors and have like they happen?
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah.
So whatever, I can't remember, like I said, I can't remember what I was doing, but that had to stop. I put that aside, got my colors out, got my pegs out, and just not stopped watching, but started doing there's the color, there's that color, that color, that color. And within 15 minutes, I had all the colors.
Right. Wow.
And then it was just a matter of sitting down, watching the film, and writing down the colors as I saw them, so that I had 150 colors.
Wow. That's one of the things that I think endears me, especially, and probably speak for on behalf of a lot of your channel members and in your community, is that you don't mind sharing. You like to teach us things. And so, like the color pegs, you know, being able to take your colors out and line them up. Now, you tease us. You like to tease us all the time, but you always, you know, that's part of the fun of it, and bringing things out at the proper time. But you teach us so much about thinking about the colors and color theory and thinking about the stitches. And most of every one of your projects, I would say a beginner should attempt. I mean, like do you agree with that they are something they could try?
Personally, whatever is on my channel, I think is for everyone. I will not say this is for advanced, this is for beginners. I think with the videos, with the explanation that I give in the videos, with the tips and tricks that I do add to every video, I think you can make everything that's on my channel. Even though it's a complicated or larger thing, you can still make it, because it's just, it will just take longer. But crochet is not that difficult. There's only 5 basic stitches. So it's the way you put them together. And if I find a way of putting them together and I explain it to you, you can do it.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
talking about setting yourselves apart and you doing stuff that other crochet YouTubers don't do. You know, your designs are as unique as your personality, Anja. I know that you know that. I mean, you put so much thought and color theory into your projects. And now you have a yarn web shop, which had to be a courageous step to take as a YouTuber, because I don't think there's anyone that was doing it or is even doing it now. What was that experience like, stepping out into something so unique?
Well, it's really my husband who wanted to do this.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I started the channel just as a hobby, not thinking about, you know, making it big or not thinking about earning lots of money with the channel, you know, nothing like that. I just put the videos on because I love doing it. But I did grow and I did get a following and I did get subscribers. And these subscribers were asking for a live on a day, you know. So I started doing lives on a Sunday. And of course, once you have that interaction, you can communicate with your subscribers. And they were like, Anja, we want you to do a cowl. We want you to do a cowl. So I did a cowl, which I designed blankets from my grandma, you know, Ode to Anna. So that was the first cowl that we did in one color. It was just one color because I just didn't feel comfortable doing this in multiple color. So yeah, you know, and of course I just told you need 11 balls, I think it was. Just go and buy them somewhere, right? And then of course people during the live, they were like, Anja, you need to start your own web shop. Why don't you get in touch with the brands and ask them if you can start selling the yarn, you know? And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Let's imagine, you know, the work.
Another thing, yeah.
And of course, I was working at the time. I still am working. But of course, at that time, it was when COVID hit and Dirk, his job didn't work out anymore because it was network marketing. So it was like getting businesses together, meeting face to face and, you know, networking.
And that was no more. There was no face to face.
No more face to face, and there was no more meeting happening. So, and marketing part, he had been saying for like all those years that I was doing my channel, you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to do the tags and you've got to do a better title. You have to do this. And I'm like, darling, I do not have the time to do all that, you know? So when his job disappeared, I said, right, now this is the time, darling, for you to start doing all those things on my channel that you have been talking about. And after a couple of months, because he was busy for like 3 months, he was doing better titles, better thumbnails, putting the tags in, and he was replying to the comments that I hadn't been able to get to at the time because I was just overwhelmed at that time. He then came to me one evening and he said, look, what your subscribers are saying, I think we should do that. I think we should do a website. This was beginning of July, I think, June, July time. He said, why don't you mail Starcraft or mail James C. Brett or phone them up or whatever and ask them if you can become a retailer, if you can sell the yarn. And I think I mailed them to start with, then I phoned them up and they allowed us to work via a wholesaler. So we had to buy it from a wholesaler and then we were able to sell it ourselves. And that's when we had the first 100 packs from Starcraft for the autumn walk cowl.
Right.
And shall I tell you a big secret as well?
Yes, please do.
I lied. In that video, I said we had 100 packs and we didn't.
You did.
We only had 70 packs.
Wow.
I didn't, we felt uncomfortable spending so much money.
Yeah.
And so we bought enough yarn for 70 packs and we put it on a credit card.
See, that's why I said it had to be courageous. You were stepping out into the unknown.
We had the money, we had the yarn here in the hallway, and I was like, okay, if it doesn't sell, I can live with that amount on my credit card. I can pay it off from whatever I'm, you know, from my normal wages slowly every month if it doesn't sell. And I mean,
And history, and that now it's history. History was made.
We sold 120 packs in an hour.
In an hour. That's awesome.
Like,
you were onto something.
So this was on a Friday evening, and so we sold them all and more. And I was like, oh, okay, right. So Monday morning, I was ordering more yarn, and then by Tuesday, when it arrives really quickly, they do this, you know, like I think Wednesday, Thursday, we got the new batch, and we were able to send out by the end of the week.
Wow.
But yeah, I lied. We were being very careful.
Yeah.
To be. When you're starting something like this. And then, of course, by doing that, I was able to, buy the next lot straight away with the money that we had made.
Right.
Off the credit card, no problem. But
right.
You know,
oh my gosh. That is awesome.
Now we're ordering that amount of yarn every week, basically.
Wow. Wow. And that came from, you know, a certain time and place in your life that I would say that you might have thought, I don't know, it seems like it would have been a little bit apprehensive in that time. You know, 2020, we all were like a little bit nervous and worried, and Dirk, you know, is going to have to transition to something new. And, you know, that had to be worrisome. And yet look what came from that, you know.
Yeah. No, unbelievable. Yeah, when Dirk started working on the website, sort of, because that takes time, because every little thing is written in whatever, however he does it.
Right.
I have no idea. So that took about 2 months for him to get sorted on the website, because of course, and that you have to pay for that as well. But of course, that was smaller amounts, so that's monthly that you pay for that, and that's fine. And yeah, so that took day and night work, because obviously, you know, it's not something I can help him with. It's just one thing, and he does it, and he, you know. So yeah, that was quite an achievement to get that set up, and even for one, because at that time we only had one pack, but it had to work, you know.
Right. Yeah. Now you said that all came from a suggestion by really listening to your community. Is that also where your planner came from? Because I know that there's a lot of people were saying, and you write a book, and so
so they're always saying, Anja, write a book, you know, for the patterns, obviously. I'm hesitant about doing that because people have been buying the individual patterns. So do I come out with brand new patterns, which I don't have the time for, or do I just collate what we already have, and then they pay double for my patterns, which I don't want to do that either. So yeah, so that's a bit to the side at the moment for a pattern book. But then, yeah, like I said, I had this thing where I had 3 books on the go in one go. I was always logging them about, forgetting one, where's the other one, where's this, where's it. It was like a pack this big that I was always carrying about. And now all I have is this, and it's
wonderful. It is a daily tool.
Daily. It's just there on my desk. I open it up. I closed it because, you know, for now, but normally it's open, always writing in it. I'm always making notes. It's
and it's wonderful. And I know you're the one for next year is limited right now for the month of September, right?
Yeah. So we always work with pre-sales. So you've got to order it now until the end of September, and otherwise you can't, you know, we have to order it from, again, that's one of those things, you know, it's quite a lot of money for us to buy them, to have them made. It's not cheap to have that made to that standard. And so, yeah, and also because it's dated, we don't want to have like 50 or 100 laying about, because that's money for us as well. You know, we don't want it to be in that. So we're just going to have printed the number that has been pre-ordered, and that's you know, they will get theirs in time for the 1st of January next year.
Wonderful. So, Anja, you know, you are the queen of tease. So can you give us a little tease about what's going on for 2025?
Wow, actually 2025 is going to be a wonderful year. it's going to be the anniversary of the channel. We're going to be 10.
That's
10
so
years.
amazing.
10 years of the channel, and yesterday or the day before we celebrated 4 years of the web shop, which is unbelievable as well. So next year we'll have 5 years of the webs.
Wow.
So
Wow.
next year we'll have 5 years of the web shop. So yes, we are going to be doing so many things, and because of the fact that I started the channel in June, didn't post a tutorial until November, we have all those months where we're going to do the celebrations.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that'll be so fun.
So there'll
So
be
fun.
giveaways, there'll be lots of special projects, there'll be lots of things happening, and hopefully some meetups as well.
Oh, that'll be awesome. I'm so excited. I know that we're all going to be like Ophelia Day every day.
Yes.
That's
I'm
wonderful. Right. That is wonderful. Well, I want to take, this is such a special moment for me to be able to thank you personally in front of everyone, to let them know how much I appreciate, because this channel is mainly because of you. And so you are my mentor, and I thank you so much for how you guide me and help me so much for this. But also, I just want to thank you for how much you do for your community. You have created a community for people. And so I want to maybe hopefully not embarrass you too much at this moment. But, you know, there are times that people are going to say, good poor little Teresa, she was lonely. But I was very lonely. But I would just turn on your videos and listen to you talk about the videos you made with your grandmother, you know, you and your mom, you know, going through things, or, you know, I would just turn you on while I was cleaning in my house. And so I just felt such a powerful connection with you, and you seemed, like you said, so authentic. And you are, as I've got to know you, you are authentic. And so I appreciate you, and I'm so excited to see where our channels grow. Well, my little channel hopefully grows, but gets to, you know, partner with you more and more in what we come up with, you know, to do, because we definitely want to bring you to the States.
Yes.
And we want to bring all of the communities together. And I'm super excited for that. But on behalf of everyone who can't personally tell you, I will tell you, thank you so much for all you do. You are amazing. You are a trailblazer in the YouTube crochet community. You are.
Stop it. I'm going to need tissues.
We love you.
No, it's great to be able to do this. It's wonderful that, you know, I've found crochet as a means of of sharing things that I love. And it's wonderful to have everyone. And especially if I can help you with, if I can help my subscribers with my videos, with giving them a little bit of peace and quiet, a project to concentrate on, fabulous. If I can help you with your channel and bring it to more people and give you some impetus in making your videos and more ideas, and help you with, you know, whatever you need to ask me about editing, because I can tell you some of the little things that I've been doing, you know.
Yes,
yeah, and it's all the little things that come together. But I have always been like that. I've never, you know, whenever I knew, even if it was, oh, look, this is the easier way to cook rice, I will tell people, you know, I will tell my daughter, I will tell everyone, make your life easier. I'm always up for giving hints and tips to do that. So if I can do that for you, if I can help you in that way, I'm more than happy.
Well, Anja, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for, you know, inviting me for an interview.
Oh.